just like these seats.
Oh, man, we didn't. You guys weren't here early enough? Well, no, you went to the wrong spot.
He said it'd be better to sit in the middle.
That would be me.
You didn't record yet. Good evening, everyone. My name is Troy Edwards, and as the superintendent of the Marion School District, it is my distinct honor to welcome you to the commencement ceremony for the Marion High School class of 2025. To our graduates, graduation is an opportune time to take a look back at all of your fond memories of elementary school, middle school, and high school, and to remember all of the teachers and other staff who have touched your lives and changed it in great ways. It is also a time to look ahead towards the future, to reflect on your hopes, dreams, and aspirations. Whatever your future holds, please stay true to yourself, show perseverance, have grit, and maintain a growth mindset. You can achieve anything you set your mind to. Class of 2025, I wish you all the very best. Normally, I would introduce Mr. John Schwartz, the Board of Education President. Unfortunately, he is not able to join us tonight. I would like to wish him well. Fortunately, we have Mrs. Tiffany Krieger, the Board of Education Vice President, for awarding the diplomas. We also have Mr. Dan Breitrick, the Junior Senior High School Principal. Please help me welcome Mrs. Krieger and Mr. Breitrick. Next, I would like to recognize our honored guests and our speaker. These individuals were selected by the class of 2025. Our honored guests are Mrs. Gloria Briske and Mrs. Mickey Anker. Both Gloria and Mickey are paraprofessionals who are valuable members of our staff. They both help our students in many ways. Our speaker is Mr. Robert Strelow. Robert is a teacher in our English Language Arts department. He is also actively involved as a student council advisor and Mustangs and Dragons advisor. I have no doubt that these three individuals were selected because of their incredible abilities to establish relationships with the students and for their caring nature. Please help me in welcoming Mrs. Briske, Mrs. Anker, and Mr. Strelow. I would now like to introduce the Marion Class of 2025 President, Olivia Westemeier.
I would like to take a moment and thank the family, friends, and faculty and coaches who are present tonight. Without you all, we would not be here today. To the class of 2025, we made it. We have prepared for this day for so long. We have been through so much together, and I'm sad that it has to come to an end. The countless class meetings we had where we argued a majority of the time. Hallway and float decorating for homecoming where no one could agree on anything until this year. The class group chat, which consisted of arguments, followed by memes, all of which came from DJ Dalton. The class president's speech is supposed to be about reminiscing on the good times we had, like Braxton running into a door frame during mat ball, Dalton falling off the stage and breaking his arm, Gracie getting lost at World Dairy Expo, the gymnastics girls teaching the others how to do cartwheels and flips. I still cannot do a cartwheel, so that did not work. Alex doing his potty dance. Maddie and Haley teaching karate during recess, getting kickball taken away multiple times because we would fight. Carly and Gracie getting stuck in the elevator in 3rd grade. Braxton wearing the same shirt 4 years in a row for picture day. Dalton screaming broke at Petra when she talked about her Sheen order. Preston falling out of his chair in Rickman's class and screaming yeehaw as he fell. Aiden and Haley's wedding, which then followed Braxton and Haley's engagement. Carly crying every time she thought of this moment. And Basche and Schwantes hitting us with Nerf guns on this senior class trip. These are some of the most memorable moments we have, but the one I want to point out is all of us growing and maturing together, going from immature elementary kids to being semi-grown-up adults. We have been there for each other through the good and bad, whether we want to admit it or not. I am beyond thankful to have spent my 12 years of school with all of you. We went from being the class every sub dreaded to the class Strelow looks forward to the most, even though he won't admit it. We all know it. Everyone who said high school would go by fast wasn't wrong. We have all had a different experience throughout high school, but at the end of the day, we were all there for each other, whether we wanted to admit it or not. To end, I want to quote Hannah Montana. I always knew this day would come. We'd be standing one by one, with our future in our hands, so many dreams, plans. Always knew after all these years, there'd be laughter, there'd be tears, but never thought I'd walk away with so much joy, but so much pain. And it's so hard to say goodbye. But yesterday's gone, we gotta keep moving on. I'm so thankful for the moments, so glad I got to know you. The times that we had, I'll keep like a photograph and hold you in my heart forever. I'll always remember you. Congratulations, class of 2025. Next, we have the junior response given by Josie Geets.
To the class of 2025, you have officially made it. The class of 2026 wishes you nothing but the best in your future endeavors. Next school year will not be as fun and enjoyable without you. You've greatly impacted all of our lives, and we are grateful for all that you've done for us. The leadership and friendship you have all shown has not gone unnoticed. You were always there, encouraging us to be the best we could. Without that, many of us wouldn't have come as far as we have. The school will look a lot different without you next year. Our grade levels have always been close, and I think that many of us have been dreading this day. We are proud of you all and grateful for the time we had together. The memories we have made will forever be cherished. March Madness and homecoming will not be the same without competing against you, especially when we're competitive that we almost let the sophomores come from behind and beat us. We can't forget the Egg Olympics either. Sorry, not sorry we beat you this year. Our sports teams won't be the same without you either. Next year won't be the same. I want to end this speech with another thank you for being great role models in our lives, even though our grade is the reason some of you passed math class. You all have great futures ahead of you, and we know that you will all succeed. Whether you're going into the workforce, a technical college, or a university, your life holds great things. We're excited to see where your path takes you. Don't forget about us back here in Marion. Next, with the salutatorian address will be Miss Mackenzie Maligue.
Good evening, parents, family, teachers, and friends. Thank you all for being here tonight to watch us take the first step into life after high school. And a special thank you to my parents, my sister Callie, Julie, Kendra, Miss Briske, and all my closest friends and family. As you may know, the class of 2025 has had many challenges in our years of schooling. Our first of many academic challenges was when we got quarantined in our 7th grade year, which is the year you learn most fundamentals for core subjects. This set us back years. To this day, there are still things we should know, but don't. But we pushed through and made it to graduation, even if we struggled along the way. This not only shows that we are able to learn quickly, but it also shows how strong a class we are. We got set back, but we're still able to come out somewhat okay. I firmly believe that the challenges a person faces shape who they are and the core values they hold. Everyone will encounter challenges, even if you are strong or weak, but how you overcome the challenges doesn't matter. All that matters is if you make it through and the path you take after. After today, we as a class will not deal with life's challenges together. We will deal with them ourselves. But no matter what the future brings, know that you will make it through. Know that if you fight to make it, you will make it. If you work for something, you will get it. So instead of complaining about it, you should rise to the challenge. We all overcome the challenges that school threw at us over the past 12 years. Let's take a few minutes to look back at what we all went through, the good and the bad, as it shaped who we are as people. In early elementary school, we thought that when the corn table was tipped over and taken away, it would be the end of any fun in the classroom. But I think we've survived just fine with the whole dress-up closet and the multiple toys of bins. Then we have the time in the 4th grade when a bunch of us got yelled at for our beloved swear pole. We thought our relationships with the teachers were ruined, but they weren't. It turns out all they did was laugh about it. When we got to middle school, we looked back at those times and laughed because they seemed so small to us at the time. Now, we discover the challenges that we truly thought would be the end of the world, whether it be a test, getting into a fight with a friend, or your crush not liking you back. But I think it is said best by my friend Maya. We made it through endless nights of cramming for a history test no one cared about, and we especially made it through the drama we thought for sure ruined our lives, as well as the heartbreak in middle school that made us not want to walk the halls ever again. All these things helped us find the type of people we wanted to become. Before we knew it, it was the first day of our freshman year. We survived our middle school years with only a few embarrassing stories. The days of school dances and all the nights of playing or watching games in the student section had started. We thought high school was going to take forever, and we could not wait to graduate. The first year came and went, and when we got to sophomore year, we realized just how fast the past year went by. Let's just say sophomore year was something. We all went through something that year, but I think one of the most memorable things from that year was meeting Strelow. He stuck with us for the rest of high school, and while we didn't get mad at him for not getting our papers graded quickly, he still stayed a teacher we trusted enough to talk to. Let's just say he gave us what many of the class of 2025 would call awful academic challenges. But we learned from them. He shaped us into who we are as a class. It felt like it was just sophomore year, and we blinked and it was the end of senior year. Some of us might not admit it, but the 4th quarter was a very emotional one. We started realizing that we were experiencing all of our lasts, and eventually it would all just be a memory. We went on our senior trip, which was filled with an insane amount of laughter and some crying when the choir kids sang the class song, I Lived, at dinner. We spent our last bus ride as a class together, listening to music and just hanging out one last time. Then it was time to go back to school for the last 2 weeks, where we ate our favorite school lunch, played our favorite game in gym, and walked out of our favorite teacher's room all for the very last time. In our last week, we did all of our finals and turned in all of our books. To this day finally came. We walked into school for the very last time as Marion high school students. We all ate breakfast together, looked through school records, and took one last group photo. We made our way to the elementary school, put on our caps and gowns, and walked through the school where it all started, the rooms and the halls where most of us met, and where many friendships started, even though I wouldn't have made it here without my bonfire girls. Now, this is the moment we have all been waiting for, to walk that stage and get out of here. Some of us may go far, and some of us may stay close, but don't forget what you once had, and always remember what Miss was. Be the change that you want to see in the world. And with that, I would like to say I'm so proud of each and every one of you for making it to this moment. I would like to leave you with one last quote from the wise man, Mr. Freedy. If you plant a potato, you get a potato. Congrats, class of 2025. Please enjoy the choir and band performances of I Lived in a Million Dreams.
Hope when you take that jump, you don't fear the fall. Hope when the water rises that you fall in love and it hurts so bad. The only way you can know is give it all you have.
And I hope that you don't suffer, but take the pain. Hope when the moment comes, you'll say, I did it all. I did it all. I owned every second that this world could give. I saw so many places, the things that I did. Yeah, with every broken bone, I swear I lived.
Hope that you spend your days, but they all add up. And when that sun goes down, hope you raise your cup.
I wish that I could witness all your joy and all your pain. But until my moment comes, I'll say, I did it all. I did it all. I owned every second that this world could give. I saw so many places, the things that I did. Yeah, with every broken bone, I swear I lived. Whoa, with every broken bone, I swear I live. With every broken bone, I swear I did it all. I did it all. I owned every second that this world could give. I saw so many places, the things that I did. Yeah, with every broken bone, I swear I live. I swear I
Good evening, everyone. I'm Mr. Strelow. I'm the sophomore, junior, and senior English teacher. And originally, I was not exactly certain why I was asked to speak, because these students had no business enjoying my class. They didn't like the work I gave them. In the beginning, most of my requests for the homework were met with open mouths and dropped jaws. However, I look at this like it was possibly an academic form of Stockholm Syndrome. Those of you who don't know what Stockholm Syndrome is, the younger ones in the crowd, that is when someone gets kidnapped and then that person who is kidnapped starts to enjoy the company of their kidnapper. Preferably, I just look at it like I prefer to teach students who are legally required to be in my presence. But maybe it's got larger context than this. There's a quote attributed to Homer, the individual who told the story of the Iliad and the Odyssey. So, a man who has been through bitter experiences and traveled far enjoys even his sufferings after a time. Now, at first I thought to myself, wow, that sounds a lot like enjoying tyranny, but then I realized I had just been teaching 1984 too much, so it probably had a different context. And I started thinking about people's experiences, the ordeals they go through. For instance, people who enjoy military service, they enjoy it, depending on who you ask, more when they're out than when they're in, but they identify with those particular aspects and it becomes part of who they are. 4-H, Boy Scouts, I know plenty of Eagle Scouts who say once an Eagle Scout, always an Eagle Scout. It defines who they are. College graduations, people who get alumni letters, same process. They identify with those particular aspects of their personality. It's probably the pride that comes from enduring these particular ideals. So to discuss the importance of these ordeals, I'll use the typical format when doing this kind of speech. I'll discuss this group as a whole, discuss some funny aspects, and then finally give them a charge, so to speak. First, their ordeal. This class, when I met them, was delightfully interesting. They immediately identified themselves as rebels. They're the tough ones. They're hard to handle. You can hear them now, even. I investigated this. At one point, they said, oh, we've even made teachers quit. I checked on that. Not really. But this part of their identity persisted. Why? Probably because they felt that was part of the ordeal they went through. It made it easier for me to just say, well, do this. But why are we doing this? Listen, you have no idea what I'm going to do to you. Have you do. It'll be fine. And then they looked at me like, well, why are we doing it like this? Simple. You're my test subjects. Like, what do you mean? Simple. I want to see how far I can push the next class. I need to see where you go, possibly to your breaking point. Enjoy that assignment. Now, this is when they kind of took an informal moniker for themselves, Mr. Strelow's guinea pigs. I believe it started as a joke, but then it kind of stuck, and they kept using it. Now, they also took a lot of what we did in stride and humor. I won't include names to protect the guilty, but for example, we have some comedians in the group. One who has no problem delivering any joke at any time, even with the proper voices. One who does a great job. Listen, I don't know where this is from. I think it's from the movie Madagascar. I think it involves a penguin. But one young lady in this group can do something with her hair with ponytails and then do the by far most infectious King Julian type of thing I've ever heard in my life. Listen, I did not do it justice. It was horrific what I just did. Hers is spot on. One individual in this group says, I am not funny unless my shoes are off. Another one whose dark humor usually made me look at her funny, but because of my previous lifeguard experience, I would usually look at her and say, you should probably tone that down, and then follow it with, never change. Some liked a lot of entertainment. One likes to show me random D&D memes and short videos. fact, we just had the discussion about if a centaur was a vampire, which heart would you have to stab with the stake? And I actually had to research that. 2 of them enjoy Supernatural, the TV show, and Loose for the TV show, and I had to remind them that I know what those are. I have each series on DVD, but there's a time and a place to watch them. Some memorable moments, I had to remind one student in this group that, no, it's Mr. Pookie to you. In fact, last year that was even written in chalk behind my car in my parking space. And yes, I have photographic evidence of that. One like to create different words like mandatory, and other random interesting things that ended up on my board for posterity. Students deciding to add more posters to my walls, like I don't have enough of them, but they are still there. I heard a phrase that I really enjoyed. One student said, if you have to tell people you have moves like Jagger, you obviously don't. And I said, I really enjoyed that quote because I said that to someone before, and she said, who do you think I got it from? Sorry. As far as accomplishments go, we have a 2-term student council president in this group. We have a person who helped create a new club on campus. We have numerous nationally published poets. In fact, one of these individuals went from getting like 2nd or 3rd in the Shawano Area Writers Awards to 1st this year. And there's artistic honors like Soul and Ensemble and Forensics, and they will be able to tell you all of those. As far as our admirable moments, 4 or 5 specific students are going from messing around in class to becoming some of the most mature and driven students to get their work done. They literally went from, do I have to do this? Can I just watch this instead? To, dude, why aren't you getting your work done? I could not have been more proud at that particular point. 3 students who have no doubt what they want to do after high school. Numerous students who improve their writing. Many of them are going from, I have to write how much, to, that's the assignment, I can do that. At least that was said to me, not always to Miss Groshek. Another individual who worked on her speech skills by what she called exposure therapy, where she was trying to get rid of her speech anxiety by adding more and more difficulties and more people to her audiences to make certain she could face those issues. One individual who walked up to me before one speech and said, Mr. Strelow, I'm going to cry during this speech. And I looked at her and said, listen, if you're going to cry during your speech, it's not going to bother me in the least. Just go up there and do it. And she did. By her 4th speech, she was quite good at them. We have one individual who was always incredibly nice and just assumed he would help Mrs. Briske with her bag or books. We had people putting up with my examples of and using students for pretend examples to help them see through the eyes of different characters. And the amount of maturity in general has been wonderful to see from this particular group. And my personal favorite, last thing I'll mention, one student in here said, now we know why you like us. You're just as scatterbrained as we are. I choose to take that as a compliment. Well, that's it. This is great. No. It's graduation. You have gone to the epitome of what you are supposed to do. Now it's time for me to give you the charge. Most people call this the motivational or uplifting portion of the speech. I call it the last time I get to tell you what to do. And I'll do this with 3 nerdy references because, yes, you saw that coming. First, we've all seen the odd Batman joke on the internet. The one that says, just be yourself. Unless you can be Batman, then be Batman. I don't know if that's the best advice, considering this is a man who has one moment of trauma define his entire life. He then adopts young children, puts them in short pants, pixie boots, and takes them into obviously violent situations. Don't emulate that. But the part that you probably should emulate is the part that he learns everything he can get his hands on. You always hear this. Who's the most dangerous one? Oh, Batman. He can think through anything. Why? Because he never knows when he might use that bit of information or that skill that he's going to learn. Now, this is powerful because this is preparation for any obstacle. Because you don't know when these obstacles could sometimes pop up. And I would love to stand in front of you and lie to you and say, if you're prepared, it will always work out. But it might not. Which leads me to my next nerdy reference, because sometimes it doesn't. And yes, Noah, I'm talking about Star Trek next. So they're well aware, one of my favorite shows is Star Trek The Next Generation. And in there, the second season, don't ask me how I can just figure that out from a picture, Lieutenant Worf is incredibly sad because at one point he did everything he was supposed to do and it failed miserably. This is a man driven by honor, duty, tradition, and doing the right thing. And he cannot figure out how every good intention he had just didn't work. And Patrick Stewart, who happens to play Jean-Luc Picard, delivers this line in probably the only way a Shakespearean actor can give it that much gravitas. And he says, "It is possible to commit no mistakes and still lose. That is not weakness. That is life." And I would love to say that I have not seen this happen to friends of mine or to me personally, but I've seen it happen. And you can have the best intentions and you can do every right thing. But the problem here is it's the essence of honor. Can you look yourself in the eye and trust that you did what was necessary even if it was difficult? Can you say unequivocally that you did not compromise your ethical principles or beliefs? Those answers to those questions tell you if you made the right decision or not, even if it didn't go well for you. Because you need to be able to say to yourself, yeah, I'd do that again. And I've been there. This is also the essence of resilience. Oddly enough, Sylvester Stallone, he was an English teacher at one point. But he possibly said it best with a fictional character. And I'm paraphrasing because I don't have the entire quote. But Rocky Balboa once mentioned, it does not matter how hard you can hit. It matters how hard you can get hit and still get back up. Because it doesn't mean that you avoid hard things. It means that you have to be able to understand that the world isn't fair. Sometimes you can do all the right things and it doesn't work out well. But the question is, can you get back up and do it again? And that's huge. Because if you can do that, that means it is easier to persevere and do even harder things later. And it makes it easier to have that understanding and do that. Because if you have all the experience, with all you've endured, with all the difficult things, it means your other endeavors are all that more impressive. Which leads me to my third and final nerdy reference. I happen to like a space western named Firefly. And the beginning of that particular show, there is a group of people trying to militarily hold a valley. And it is not going well. And these individuals look to, at the time, Sergeant Reynolds. Later on, he's Captain Reynolds. But they look and they, what do we do? And he explains, they didn't think we could do this. They didn't think we could hold this valley, and we did. And then he says, we did the impossible, that makes us mighty. This is why you don't shy away from difficult things. Because if you do, you might have the same issue that Julius Caesar mentions. Yes, it's a Shakespeare reference again. That's fine. The coward dies 1,000 deaths. The valiant die only once. Why? Because if you don't do the things that maybe would make you mighty, you're stopping the person you could be. And what if through all the hard things you've done, You have accrued all the skills necessary to do the thing that other people don't think can be done. That makes you look incredibly mighty. Because we've discussed it. The only difference between someone being smart or stupid is the discussion being had at that moment. We all have different intellectual strengths. We all have different intellectual parts that we've never developed. I can tell you right now, I know nothing about the inside of cars, much to the chagrin of some of my students as they giggle at me. But that's fine. What if I have skills in another area? What if you have skills in another area that allows you to look amazing to somebody else because they're like, oh, I never know how to do that. To those individuals, that makes you look mighty. So do not hesitate from those things because you might have that exact skill necessary to do that amazing thing. So there's the door. Oh, sorry, that came out wrong. There's the door, or that door. They're going to have you walk out of one of those tonight because this is it for you. You've graduated. Tonight, you take that next step into another chapter. So remember, learn everything you can because you now control that curriculum. Even if you do everything right, make sure that even if it goes wrong, you can still continue. And make sure you do those difficult things because what if they do turn out and you look absolutely awesome? Those are important. So class of 2025, good luck. Take it. I don't think you need it, but take it anyway. And finally, to the group of students who looked at me sophomore year and said, we're difficult, we're tough, we're rebels. I have one last, if you remember nothing else from my speech tonight, please remember this. It was my honor and my privilege to teach you. And anyone who attempts to convince you otherwise is obviously not to be believed. Thank you.
Thank you. I haven't said anything yet. Good evening, everyone, and welcome. Tonight, I have the honor to present the Jeff Nell Memorial Award. This award goes to a senior who has raised their GPA average over the 4 years of their high school career the most. A little background on this award. Jeff Nell was a 1961 graduate of Marion High School who passed away tragically in 1971. After Jeff's passing, the family requested this award be presented every year in his honor to that student who improved his or her grade point average the most in Jeff's memory. This year's recipient raised their GPA 7/10 point, which is pretty decent. The Jeff Nell Memorial Award for having the most improved GPA goes to David Fuller, Jr. Next, please welcome for the Valedictorian address, Miss Emma Westphal.
Sorry, I'm a bit jangly, too many medals. Welcome community members, students, staff, family, and fellow graduates. Tonight, we're here to commemorate a magnificent achievement that wouldn't be possible without the countless contributions made by all of you. Family members for raising our class, teachers and staff for filling in where our parents couldn't, community for supporting our athletes and student body, and students for your friendship, time, and dedication. I think that deserves a round of applause. On a separate note, a wise old man once told me, "You are what you make of things." Thank you, Dad, wherever you are. I don't know where you are. I'll make this speech like me, somewhat short, sweet, and a bit too sentimental. When I was first told I'd get the chance to speak at graduation by Mr. Rodney, I wasn't sure of what to say. What could I try and tell you that could apply to everyone sitting in this gym, not just the people wearing caps and gowns? Well, over the many and not so many years of existence we've experienced together, we've all learned lessons, acquired moral codes and values, grown in our own ways. With that in mind, I asked myself, friends, family, and other inspirational figures about our experiences and what we wished we could have told ourselves. Through a bit of paraphrasing and introspection, this is the compilation we made. 1. Nothing is truly permanent, except the decisions we make. Make the best ones for yourselves, even if others disagree with you. This sadly includes making mistakes. It may sound silly, but I encourage you to make them, and make them often. Make them so you learn from them. Take them in stride and support people who make the same mistakes. We've all made them before and have probably felt embarrassed. Be sure your mistake isn't making others feel worse about theirs. 2. Speaking of other people, they will change, but so will you. It's inevitable and a good thing, most of the time. Don't be afraid of these changes, especially the ones you can't control. Be prepared for the ones you can make for yourself. 3. On the topic of preparing for changes you can make, find something you love to dedicate your life to. Enjoy the time you have in school and with your family. Along with that, find a job you wake up happy to, because a life half lived is a life half lived. 4. Have a plan. Even if it's a simple one, like what am I going to eat today? Or whether I should do my laundry now or later. The hint is to always do it earlier. You'll forget it later. Planning is a wonderful tool, but like most things in life, it can be difficult. Don't give up if faced with a failed plan. Come up with a new one. Remember, these things happen for a reason. 5. Do not limit yourself in life. Try new things, meet new people, travel to new places. Sometimes things you love most are unexpected. Try everything you can. 6. Know what you can handle. Do not deprive yourself of what you need, and remember to take care of yourself. Take a moment to breathe. 7. Here we are, at the final point, and the most simple one. Make the memories. Hold on to them. Never forget those you've met along the way. You are a mosaic of everyone you've come to love in your life. Remember that when you feel lonely. You should also remember that making it to this point in our lives is an accomplishment. But don't stop here. Continue learning, living, and loving. At this moment in our lives, we are at the crossroads of our future and at the crux of many powerful decisions. We should take our first step into the unknown together, feeling a bit more comforted by our shared experience and lessons to be learned. I can't wait to see where we end up going in our lives. And once again, congratulations to Marion High School's class of 2025. Now, please enjoy the senior slideshow created by Olivia Westemeier.
No applause this time? Thank you, Ms. Westemeier, for putting together the wonderful reminisce of all. Mrs. Krieger and Mr. Edwards, the students before you of the class of 2025 have met the state of Wisconsin and the school district of Marion's graduation requirements. Students, please come forward to receive your diplomas.
Evelyn Grace Grunewald. Lily Ann Woodstrack. Colleen Adela Malig. Gracie Elaine Grogan. Mackenzie Jane Malig. Emma Grace Westphal. Noah Wyatt Suring. Good job. Sorry. Callie Ann Boyd. Haley Ray Meister. Jordan Pogue. Cameron W. Buss. Olivia Joan Marie James. Lillian Patricia Russo. Carly Ray Robinson. Hattie E. Shane. Petra Nancy Ann Bailey. Caitlin M. Allender. Lauren J. Dye. Madison M. Larson. Bridget Muck. Georgia Olive Karst. Brandon Peterson. Jaden O. Hoffman. Aiden O. Williamson. Braxton Hoyt Jensko. David W. Fuller, Jr. Mason James Stump. Preston Zerbach. Alex A. Abrahamson. Bryce Hunter. Dalton Michael Williams. Evan Gleason. Raymond Kirchner. Noah Allen.
Olivia Laureen Westmeyer.
Good evening again, ladies and gentlemen. I want to take this opportunity to congratulate the class of 2025. Hold on to it, Jaden. Hold on. You have all worked very hard to get to this place. Some of you worked harder than others, and some of you may think you worked harder. I'm here to tell you this. All of the work you have done has earned you a diploma and has just gotten you to the starting line. Do your best in the next race. Parents, family, friends, staff, members of the Marion School Board, I proudly present to you Marion High School's class of 2025.
probably like, man, after that class, I need to